The future of the Halo series doesn't look good. Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella confirmed 10,000 layoffs during what the executive described as times of significant change, probably more corporate garbage. While the Xbox and Bethesda Studios divisions were hit, Jason Schreier reported that several employees indicated that 343 Industries was hit especially hard. After Bungie left the Halo series and Xbox at the launch of Halo Reach, 343 Industries was created to carry on the development of the Halo franchise. And so far they've been doing an okay job. But you have to remember, being the face of the franchise under one of the world's largest corporations will lead to the usual corporate scumbaggery here and there. One notable example that's widely used throughout the games industry is the use of contract workers, where companies usually fill their key or mundane positions with temporary workers on a limited contract. This is also with dragging them on for months at a time with promises of a full-time position that usually never comes. And when layoffs happen, contractors are usually the first ones to go. Of course, the main use of this practice is that contract employees do not get the full benefits or even the competitive pay that regular employees do. Microsoft especially mandated that contractors can only work for 18 months. They can then come back after a 6-month break. It's said that the development of Halo Infinite was so filled with contractors rolling in and out of the studio that it hurt the game's production and was probably the reason it got delayed. Among other things. Usually with corporate jobs, a massive red flag of a workplace in trouble is senior management living en masse. Joseph Staten, who's with Bungie during the early days of Halo, even being the lead writer on Destiny, left 343 after being there for less than 3 years. He was brought back in basically to help Infinite along the finish line, after all that stuff happened. Along with Bonnie Ross, who was the head and co-founder of 343, who had been at the company for 15 years. Yeesh, that's never a great sign when one of the people who starts the company leaves it voluntarily. That's like the lead singer of the band leaving the band. Finally, there's mission designer Tom French, who had been with the company for 11 years, who also left back in December. The reason why this is usually a red flag is that people who have been with a company for years usually stay there until retirement. Human beings are naturally creatures of comfort. If everything is great, we usually like to keep it that way. But the video game industry is different. It's often a rare case for someone to stay at a studio for too long. Think about it like this. If they left with some distance between each other, yeah, sure, it wouldn't be as worrying. But they all left within the span of 1 year, meaning something's not right at 343. So I'm gonna go ahead and put on my tinfoil hat right now. Think about it like this. I don't think Microsoft has any plans to keep Halo as a regular franchise anymore. Now, Halo has been pretty much part of Xbox's brand identity for a long time, but the main thing here is that it's interesting because this was 1 year to the day that Microsoft announced that they were buying Activision. It's a weird coincidence, but it's a little bit of foreshadowing. Think about it like this. Microsoft bought out their competition. They don't need to compete with Call of Duty anymore because they own it. So what's the point in putting your resources in another game that would compete with Call of Duty? That's probably why 343 Industries got hit so hard. If you think there'd be no reason, why wouldn't they have 2 franchises under their belt? It makes no sense. Disney, back in 2010, released the movie Tron Legacy. It was meant as a way to have their own sci-fi franchise to compete with Star Wars. And then the year right after that, they bought Star Wars. And so Tron has kind of been on ice, kind of cooling it. There's no giant movie out for it because Disney already went and did it. They bought out the competition. They bought what they were competing against. So I think that's what happened here with Halo. So that leaves the future of the franchise, with most of the senior staff gone and Microsoft not budging on contractors. It's sad to say that whatever Halo gets released next won't feel like Halo anymore. Microsoft is also doubling down on the multiplayer and live service aspects, with any hope of an expansion to the single player gone with Joseph Staten. Unless Microsoft tries its best to save it, which doesn't look like the case right now, it's safe to say that Halo's glory days are behind it, and the Halo we know right now will be gone. Thanks for watching my video. If you have something to say on the state of Halo, or you haven't played it in years, please leave a comment down below. I'd love to read it. If you like my content, please consider subscribing and clicking here to see another video.